iconic role, Jay Gatsby. I mean, did you know the book well? Had you seen the original movie? Like, what's your, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I had read the book when I was in high school,
yeah,
probably. I'm guessing it was high school. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
It was a
yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah.
Huh? She's getting close to 40. But I remember really enjoying it, but, you know, I don't think I really registered it when I was a kid. So I went back and I reread the book and sort of rediscovered the masterpiece that is that book. And it's just really, I mean, it's just I read it like 2 times in a row. I was like, this, I don't even know. You don't see anything like this, you know? And so I became more familiar with it. And I probably saw parts of the DiCaprio movie, and I don't think I ever saw the other one. So I try to stay away from that stuff
Yeah.
when I can. You know, it's one thing to read a book, but it's another to like see somebody else's
Yeah.
interpretation of a character, and it can do. It can go either way.
Yeah.
You know, it can inspire you, but it can also sort of hamstring you to like, oh, you know, they did that one thing, and I have to like live up to that, or I have to sort of create that, or I have to not do that. I have to do something. It's like just create what's coming naturally. And
Because that's the best thing I would
yeah,
think, working on a brand new musical when you have the team there with
yeah,
you, an incredible director that you get
yeah.
to make your own Jay Gatsby.
Yeah, and my Gatsby I think is a little bit different
Yeah.
than we explore a little bit more of his inner life that we don't see a lot in the book, or I'm assuming really in the movies, because we kind of take the storytelling narrative part away from the character of Nick and sort of get to show everybody's stories individually. And my Gatsby, I think I've chosen to sort of delve more into his neuroses. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a guy who will go at stop at no end to achieve this goal of getting this woman who was above his station. So he's literally somehow become like the richest man in America, ostensibly. He goes way too
Yeah.
far, but at the same time, it's because his passion is so overwhelmingly, you know, sort of carrying him through life. And someone that has that much has got to have a little bit of neuroses. And so we've definitely played with that a lot, and it's been really fun to find, what feels to be like a more authentic version of Gatsby, even though he is kind of playing his own
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
So treading that fine line.
I read the book in high school.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I spark noted in high school because I just couldn't get the work done. Sorry, Miss Eringhouse. But I read the book a few times, honestly, about 7 times in all.
Yeah.
I've seen the movies a million times, all before I knew I got the role. So auditioning for it, I remember the night before, Reeve had bought me this vintage 1920s like lace robe. So I wore it over my thing, and I remember being like, this feels right. Like, I really, really, really want this. And when I was in my audition, I was like, oh boy, if I don't get this, it's going to be heartbreaking. So I'm so just thankful. I'm so grateful that this is happening.
Yeah, I play Nick Carraway, who we all know from the novel. So the guy who kind of arrives fresh from the scene, you know, wide-eyed and ready for adventure. And so I'm excited for the audience to see Nick's journey from beginning to end. As we know, The Great Gatsby goes through a lot of ups and downs. So we're really going to take the audience on a ride that they are not ready for.
I'm playing Jordan Baker. She's a professional golfer in the show. She's an independent woman. She doesn't want to get married. She loves to wear pants, which I also do. And she's here for a good time, not for a long time. She's like ready to party and do whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And that's what I love about her. She doesn't ask anyone for permission. She just does what she wants.
I'm playing George B. Wilson. You can all I sigh immediately when I talk about it. What a nuanced and complicated man to tackle, and I feel this sort of kinship with him in a very like sad sort of way. But it also I want to do his story justice. You know, I think it's a very important story to tell of the striving working class American dream. So yeah.
I play Myrtle Wilson,
Yeah.
and I love that she is a bit of comic relief, and because it's a very heavy show. I love her optimism, even if it borders into delusional a little.
Yeah.
My first goal in trying to adapt this book was to think about
the female characters who drove me kind of crazy, and when I read it in high school and in college again. And so I was really excited to dive into Daisy and Jordan, who I identified with and felt like I understood in a way that maybe, sorry Fitzgerald, maybe you didn't. And so I was really excited about, my first exciting moment was I want to put a scene with Jordan and Daisy on stage, and I want them to golf. And so I have that. So that exists. That happens, and it's one of my. It's like my pride and joy that happens on stage, and I think it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that we started working on this during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so we had this new understanding of the Roaring '20s,
Yeah.
and the fact that came out of the Spanish flu. You're suddenly looking at it from a completely different angle, and we realized that as much as we thought that this was completely relevant to the moment that we're in terms of technology, in terms of the way the economy is working, we suddenly realized that there's this other unleashing that was happening. And so we wanted to lean into that too and really think about our own moment of returning to people and what it feels like when you've lost time and you're trying to get it back.